Welcome to the World News. I'm Randolph Jamias for today's global stories. We start the news in Brazil. At least 7 people died and 2 were injured after a 10-meter brick wall collapsed over cars and pedestrians in the Brazilian city of Sorocaba on Thursday night. Rescue teams worked overnight to pull out the victims from under the rubble. The wall belonged to a historic building which used to house a textile factory in the mid-1900s. Civil Defense said they were still investigating the incident, which was likely caused by strong winds and heavy rains. Moving now to Uganda, Emmanuel Arinaitwe is a victim of elephantiasis disease who dropped out of school because of the pain and stigma he experienced from classmates and people around him. Health advocate Everest Bayenga said a recent survey shows that over 200 people in this part of Uganda had elephantiasis, and there are even more with symptoms similar to the lymphatic disease. One official in the country's health ministry said there is an urgent need for over 42 million Uganda shillings to tackle neglected tropical diseases affecting many Ugandans. The country's health ministry has embarked on mapping out all the affected areas to determine the extent of the disease before treatment and preventive measures are undertaken, but the country lacks funds to implement the program.
Some are hiding that disease, like especially men. They are hiding their eggs in boots, thinking that if people see them with elephantiasis, they get shelled.
Health officials said the elephantiasis is caused by a tropical worm spread by a mosquito that breeds in tropical rainy forests.
Many of the programs are suffering from lack of funding, basically because the main strategic plan has not been rolled out, so that it is picked up by funders, including the government of Uganda itself.
Now in Peru, the country's archaeologists are restoring a stretch of the Inca Trail that passed through what is today southern Lima, a project that aims to boost tourism and reduce poverty in the surrounding areas. The Peruvian archaeologists are also working in the preservation of the Huaycan ruins next to the stretch of the Inca Trail that is being restored. The whole Inca Trail, with its network of roads, is more than 40,000 kilometers long and unites Peru, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Argentina, and Bolivia. The restoration is expected to be completed by 2013. In an effort to help people get to know one another, a New York City artist is seeking to photograph a child from each country on the planet, but the child must live within New York City's 5 boroughs. An exhibit of Danny Goldfield's work is on display at the Jewish Community Center in Manhattan until early January. Visitors to the exhibit will see large, vibrant, and candid photographs of children. So far, Goldfield has photographed 169 children from various countries. He is working on the remaining 24 countries that include Kuwait, Malawi, Monaco, North Korea, Samoa, and Saudi Arabia.
We're in New York City. These are the neighbors of the people that come in to this place for the most part. So I hope they just realize how interconnected we are to different cultures within this one city, and also how interconnected we are with the world. You know, so I always come back to that word, like interconnectedness, and it seems like that's what the project is about.
In our Christmas news, Tokyo Station got a high-tech makeover ahead of Christmas and New Year's on Friday, with projection mapping technology being used to change the face of the iconic station. Although for only 10 minutes at a time, the Tokyo Station light up and video projection is part of a larger initiative in the area that even includes the Imperial Palace being lit up for the first time ever. Designer Ryutaro Muramatsu said that his biggest hope was that after seeing the 10-minute show, people would experience the same feelings they do through Christmas and the New Year. The lighting extravaganza will last until December 28th. In other news, thousands of game enthusiasts attended the Asia Game Show 2012 that opened at Hong Kong's Convention and Exhibition Center on Friday. The 4-day show is putting up 88 high-tech video game demos for visitors to trial on the spot. Plenty of classic games and models of game characters are also on display at the show, according to the organizer. Along with classic games designed by major international game companies, are many new games developed by young local engineers in Hong Kong. The game show will close on Monday. And lastly, visitors at Rio de Janeiro's famous Sugarloaf Mountain were caught by surprise on Friday as they spotted a funky Santa Claus riding on top of the cable car. The surfing Santa, who was tied to a safety belt, was hired by the company that manages the Brazilian tourist site to distribute gifts and take photos with visitors. Santa was also joined by 2 elves who carried the presents that were handed out to children. The surprise visit thrilled both children and adults. Over 1 million people visit the tourist attraction every year, according to the Sugarloaf administration. And that's the first half of our stories. Then go away. We'll be back shortly.